Hello and welcome to another lesson on management of inventory. Management of inventory. So, to begin with, we can start by looking at the types of inventory we have. And we have three types of inventories. We have three types of inventory. Number one, especially when it comes to a manufacturing firm, we have raw materials. We have work in progress. And finally, we have number three, finished goods. We have finished goods. So, those are the three types of inventory we have. Now, there are four major costs associated with inventory management. Now, the types of costs associated with inventory management. There are four types of costs associated with inventory management. The first one is what we call as the holding cost. Now, this is the cost of maintaining our inventory in our stores or in our warehouse. Now, it includes warehouse costs, security, maintenance, administrative, insurance, cost of capital tied up in the inventory, and so on. And generally, this cost will increase in direct proportion to the amount of inventory we have. So the more inventory we hold in our warehouse or in our store, the more the holding cost we are going to incur. And then we have another type of cost known as ordering cost. Now, ordering cost, this is the cost of placing an order, and it will include the transport cost, any clash or cost of preparing and placing the order, insurance in transit, clearing and forwarding costs, and etc. That is the cost of ordering. So this is any cost we are incurring in the process of making an order and having those goods delivered to us. And then we have number three, the other type of cost. We have purchase cost. Now, purchase cost, this is the cost of purchasing a unit of stock. Say we are buying a shipment of pens. Now, if one pen is costing us 5 shillings, then our purchase cost will be 5 shillings per unit of pen. Now, that is the purchase cost. It's quite direct. And then lastly, we have the stock out cost. Now, the stock out cost includes loss of customer goodwill, loss of sales, or cost of processing back orders, and so on. Stock out cost happens when we are out of inventory. So, in case we are out of inventory and a customer places an order and we tell them we don't have that specific item in stock, one, we might lose some customer goodwill, because if a customer comes once or twice and we tell him the same thing, then the customer will be reluctant to come next time. And again, we will also lose that sale because we don't have that item in stock. And also, if in case we have back orders, they will also cost us in processing the same. Now, that is stock out cost, the cost we are going to incur for not having inventory in our warehouse or store. Now, if we assume certainty, the relevant cost for decision making will be the holding cost and the ordering cost. These two, if we assume certainty. If we assume certainty, the relevant cost will be the holding cost and the ordering cost. And the objective of inventory management is to minimize these two, relevant costs. Now, this will occur when a company orders an economic order quantity. This will occur when a company will order an economic order quantity. So this is what we are saying, that our main objective in inventory management is to reduce the relevant costs. And the relevant costs include the holding cost and the ordering cost. And to do that, we will need to get what we call the economic order quantity. Now, let's go ahead and look at the EOQ model, economic order quantity model. This model will simply help us try to minimize those two relevant costs. And this is the formula. We have 2DCO over HC. So D is the annual demand, CO is the cost of ordering, ordering cost, and HC is the holding cost. Now, let us look at an illustration to show you how the EOQ model works. We have an example where we have a company requires 2,000 units of an item costing 50 shillings each. Now, these 2,000 units will be our demand, our annual demand, and costing 50 shillings each. This will be our purchase price. These forms have a lead time of 7 days. So the lead time is the time we take, the time taken from the time we place an order to the time we receive that order. That's what we call the lead time. And in this case, the lead time is 7 days. And each order costs 50 shillings to prepare and process. So this is the ordering cost. And the holding cost is 15 shillings per unit per annum. For storage, cost of 10% of purchase price. So on top of the 15 shillings per unit per annum, we will also take 10% of the purchase price, and this is the purchase price higher. Next, management has set up a safety stock level of 10 units. So this is the level at which if the stock goes to that point, we need to make another order, which is 10 units. And these units are on hand at the beginning of the year. This is the minimum buffer stock. This should be buffer stock, which acts as a cushion against any increase in usage or delay in delivery time. So we are required A, to get the number of units that should be ordered each time. This is the EOQ. How many units should be ordered each time an order is made? That is now what we are calling the EOQ, the economic order quantity. Now, next, what is the reorder level? Next, we determine the total relevant cost. And lastly, what is the necessary inventory turnover? So let's go ahead and look at that. So we have the first part, wanataka we get the economic order quantity, the EOQ, and we know that the EOQ is given by the square root of 2DCO over HC. So we take 2 times the annual demand, we saw it's 2,000, times the cost of ordering is 50 shillings, divided by the holding cost. We have 15 shillings, and on top of the 15 shillings, as we saw earlier on the question, on top of the 15 shillings, so the holding cost is 15 shillings, and on top of that, we are going to incur storage cost of 10% of the purchase price. So 10% of 50 shillings. So we have 10% plus 10% of 50. This will give us 2 times 2,000 times 50. It's giving me 200,000 divided by 20. Because this is 5 plus 15, 20. So this is 200,000 divided by 20, giving me 10,000. The square root of 10,000 is 100. So our EOQ, our economic order quantity, is 100 units. So this is the amount or the number of units we will be ordering every time we place an order. That is the first part of the question. Now, the next part of the question, what is the reorder level? What is the reorder level? So the reorder level we have a formula for the reorder level, and we take the annual demand divided by, okay, we multiply first by the lead time, annual demand, we multiply by the lead time, divided by the number of days in a year, we multiply this one. No, we don't multiply, rather we add the safety stock. That is our formula for getting the reorder level. We take the annual demand, we multiply by the lead time, and then we divide by the number of days in a year, time plus the safety stock. Now, to do that, our annual demand was 2000. So we have 2000 multiplied by the lead time as per the question. We saw the lead time was 7 days. Yes, these forms have a lead time of 7 days. So we multiply by 7. Then we divide by the number of days in a year. Since we are not given, we can use 365 days. 365 days, and we also given the level of buffer stock is 10, or the safety stock is 10, and this will give us 14,000 divided by 365. Let's see, 14,000 divided by 365 is giving me 38 plus 10 is giving me 48.35, but we ignore the decimal, so it's giving me 48. So anytime we have the number of units being 48, then we definitely need to make an order. That will be our reorder level, so that we can avoid the stock out costs. Next, we have the next part of the question. They want us to determine the total relevant cost. Total relevant costs. The total relevant cost. So the total relevant cost in this case, as we noted earlier, we saw that the total relevant cost will be the holding cost and will also be the ordering cost. So we have the holding cost plus the ordering cost. So we have the formula for both of them. We can start with the ordering cost. We can start with the ordering cost, and the ordering cost we can do it by thinking critically or analytically. How much do we incur, or how many orders do we need to make each year? How many orders do we need to make each year? And then we multiply by the cost of each order. How many orders do we need to make each throughout the year? And we multiply that one by the cost of each order. So we have an annual demand of 2,000 shillings, of 2,000 units. And we saw our economic order quantity. The minimum we should order, or the economic amount of units we should order, is 100. So we divide by 100. So in a year, we will have to make 200 times divide by 100. This is 20. This is 20. This is 20 orders in a year. And we saw that each order will cost us 50 shillings. So this will be 1,000. This will be 1,000. So we can see the formula for ordering cost is given by the ordering cost. The ordering cost CO multiplied by the annual demand divided by the EOQ. So we divide the annual demand, with the EOQ, and then we multiply that one by the EOQ, the quantity, the EOQ quantity. So we will take 2000 divided by 100, we get the number of orders we have, we can make in a year. Multiply that one by 50, the cost of one order. Next we have, the next one we have is the holding cost. The holding cost. Now the holding cost, the formula is usually given by the holding cost multiplied by the EOQ quantity divided by 2. So the holding cost in this case, we saw it was 15 plus 5% of 50. We had calculated it here. This one, the holding cost, we had calculated it here, 15 plus 10% of 50, which is 15 plus 5, this is 20. 20 times the EOQ quantity is 100, then we divide by 2, so we have 2000 divided by 2, this is 1000. Now if our EOQ is correct, then these two should be equal. Now our total relevant cost will be the ordering cost plus the holding cost. 1000 plus 1000, this will give us 2000. That will give us 2000. Next we have the next requirement was, after determining the total relevant cost, we determine what will be our inventory turnover. Inventory turnover. How many times do we have to place an order? How many times do we have to place an order? So we have 2000, or we can say the annual demand can be given by the annual demand divided by the EOQ. And in this case we have 2000 divided by 100. This is giving us 20. That is giving us 20. Now that marks the end of our example on the EOQ model. But before we proceed, we have some few assumptions when using the EOQ model. So we can have some assumptions here. What are some of the assumptions? Number one, we can say that there is complete certainty of all variables. There is complete certainty of all variables. There is complete certainty of all variables affecting the model. That is, we know the annual demand, we know the ordering cost, and we know the holding cost, we know the lead time. Everything is known, and the usage of stock is also uniform. That is the major assumptions we have done in this model. We are certain of all the variables, and the usage of stock is minimal. We can also have it as number 2, that the usage of stock is uniform. The usage of stock is uniform throughout the year. Number 3, we have the ordering cost is constant regardless of the number of units ordered. The ordering cost is constant. And this might not be the case at all times. The more orders we make, you'll find that the ordering cost will also reduce due to economies of scale. Number 4, the holding cost per annum is constant. The holding cost is constant. The holding cost is constant regardless of how many units have been ordered or have been held. And lastly, number 5, we have the purchase price is constant regardless of the number of units purchased. Purchase price is constant regardless of the number of units purchased. And again, this might not always be the case. This might not always be the case. We'll have some times where we are given discounts for making large purchases. And that now leads us to our next section in this management of inventory topic: quantity discounts. Quantity discounts. So we can say, as a major point, so as a point in this subsection, that the purchase price becomes a relevant cost. The purchase price becomes a relevant cost. It becomes a relevant cost because the quantity discount reduce the total purchase cost. Because the quantity discount, the quantity discounts reduce the purchase cost. Because the quantity discount reduce the purchase cost. Now I want us to use our previous example. The same example. But now in this example, let's assume a 5% discount. In this example, let's assume a 5% discount is given if 200 or more units are ordered. If 200 or more units are ordered. And we saw that the EOQ, the economic order quantity, was 100. Now let's try and figure out that if 200 or more units are ordered, what will be our relevant cost? And then from there, we decide, are we going to take the discount or leave it? So let's go ahead and try and work that one out. So we have the total cost without the discount. We analyze the total cost without discount. The total cost without the discount, we will take the purchase price. The purchase price is 2,000 multiplied by 50 shillings multiplied by 50 shillings, and this will give us 100,000. And then we have the holding cost. The holding cost, we are told that we have an annual demand of 2,000. The holding cost, we had actually calculated the holding cost earlier without the discounts. We have 20 times 100 divided by 2. We have 20 times 100 divided by 2. So we have 2,000 divided by 2. This is giving me 1,000 shillings. And then we have the holding cost. We have the ordering cost. The ordering cost, we had also calculated the same here. The ordering cost, and we saw that it was throughout the year we have 2,000 orders, and if we make 100, if we purchase 100 units every time, we get 20 orders and times 50. So we will take ordering cost will be 1,000 again. Ordering cost will be 1,000 again, since it will be 2,000 divided by 100 times 50. 2,000 divided by 100 times 50. This will give us 1,000 again. So without the discount, our total cost is adding up to 102,000. So we add these three. That is giving us 100 plus 2,000 is equals to 102,000. So that is our total cost without discount. If we decide we are not going to take the discount, we just order 100, we don't order 200 so that we get the discount, we will have a total cost of 102 discount. Now let's check the total cost with discount. Total cost with discount. The total cost with discount. So the total cost with discount, we'll take the purchase price in this case. We will take 2,000 multiplied by 50, but now this 50 will be 95% because we are being given a 5% discount. So we will have 2,000 multiplied by 50 times 95%, and this will give us 95,000. This will give us 95,000, and then we take the holding cost. The holding cost will be affected slightly because you can see from our holding cost we are taking 20, and this 20 we took 15 plus 5, which is 10% of 50. But now this 50 has a discount of 5%, so we will take 15 plus 10% of, again 95% of 50. 95% of 50. And then multiply that one by 200, divide by 2. Multiply that one by 200, divided by 2. So that is giving me 2172.5. And then we take the ordering cost, So the ordering cost will be 50 but now we will take 2000, which is the annual demand. The number of orders will reduce because we are now ordering 200 instead of 100, so 200, and this will give us 500. This will give us 500. Now let us get the total cost. Let us get the total cost. So we will take $500 plus 95,000, which is the purchase price, plus 2172.5, and this is giving me 97,967.2. 97,967.2. Now we can advise the management to go ahead and take the discount and order 200 units per order, because this is actually giving them a lower price or a lower cost of 97, whereas without the discount we got a total of 102,000. So that is how we would incorporate cash discounts on purchases, and that marks the end of management of inventory. And in the next session we will look at management of cash.